Hello, you're watching VNA News Bulletin. I'm Bảo Ngọc from Hanoi, and now the headlines as usual.
Party General Secretary receives Lao Prime Minister. Republic of Korea to resume reception of Vietnamese workers. Tests show seafood samples from central provinces safe.
Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng hosted a reception in Hanoi on May 16 for Lao Prime Minister Thongloun Sisoulith, who is on an official visit to Vietnam.
At the meeting, Prime Minister Sisoulith briefed the host on the outcomes of his talks and meetings with Vietnamese high-ranking leaders, stressing that the Lao government will work closely with its Vietnamese counterpart to effectively implement the Vietnam-Laos Joint Statement issued in April 2016 and other bilateral agreements. General Secretary Trọng spoke highly of the visit's significance, which contributes to deepening the traditional friendship, special solidarity, and comprehensive cooperation between Vietnam and Laos. Having applauded the collaboration between the two governments over the past time, the party chief urged both sides to effectively realize the results of the Vietnam visit by Lao Party General Secretary and State President Bunyang Volachit, as well as those reached at the 38th meeting of the Vietnam-Lao Intergovernmental Committee. He said the two nations should step up cooperation in defense, security, and external affairs, while increasing two-way trade, linkages between the two economies, transport infrastructure, and energy, as well as improving the quality of education and personnel training. Both leaders stressed that Vietnam-Laos relations are vital to the cause of national safeguarding and development in each country, thus contributing to peace, stability, cooperation, and development in the region and the world as well.
Accelerating the study of Ho Chi Minh's ideology, morals, and lifestyle is a crucial content of party building and reinforcement. Politburo member and permanent member of the Party Central Committee Secretariat Đinh Thế Huynh made the remarks at a teleconference on May 16 to review the 5-year performance of a Politburo directive on studying and following Ho Chi Minh's moral example.
Huynh said the move aims to build a pure and strong party in terms of politics, ideology, organization and morals, and a contingent of capable and qualified officials. He stressed such efforts will help guard against degradation in political thought, morals and lifestyle, while adding more strength to the fight against corruption, wastefulness and bureaucracy. While calling on the entire party, people and army to continue responding to the campaign, Huynh stressed that studying and following Ho Chi Minh's example should become a self-awareness and regular deeds of all-level party committees and organizations, administrations, the Vietnam Fatherland Front, socio-political organizations, and localities. A report presented by Politburo member, head of the Party Central Committee's Information and Education Commission, Võ Văn Thương, showed that the campaign has helped raise awareness of not only party officials but also the public. Other delegates at the conference pointed out limitations and solutions to raise the efficiency of the work in the time ahead. Nearly 720 collectives and individuals who made outstanding performances in the campaign were honored on this occasion.
Now moving to other important news. Prime Minister Wilsonville arrived at Vnukovo International Airport in Moscow on May 16, beginning his official visit to Russia, where he also attended the commemorative summit to celebrate the 20th anniversary of Iceland-Russia dialogue relations.
Welcoming the Vietnamese leader at the airport were Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Igor Mokolov, Vietnamese Ambassador to Russia Nguyễn Thanh Sơn, the embassy staff, along with representatives of the Vietnamese community in Russia. Later on the same day, Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc held talks with his Russian counterpart, Dmitry Medvedev. Following the talks, the two leaders witnessed the signing of cooperation documents between ministries, sectors, and enterprises of Vietnam and Russia. Prime Minister Wilsonville's visit affirms Vietnam's consistent policy of attaching importance to and prioritizing the development of traditional friendship and comprehensive strategic partnership with Russia. Within the framework of the visit, the two sides are expected to review the implementation of major cooperation projects and discuss regional and international issues of common concern.
Prime Minister Wilsonville's official visit to Russia is his first overseas trip since he was elected to the post last month. Russian scholars said the visit will strengthen the Vietnam-Russia comprehensive strategic partnership, and Vietnam has always acted as the bridge linking Russia with ASEAN.
The Vietnam-Russia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership has strongly developed in the past years across the fields. The bilateral political relationship is based on solid trust and has been constantly strengthened with the frequent exchange of high-level delegations. The two countries boast a long tradition relationship that should be further developed. Vietnam has always acted as a bridge connecting Russia with ASEAN. Vietnam is Russia's first partner and its largest trade partner in ASEAN. All the projects that the two sides are planning, such as the Russian-built nuclear power plant in Vietnam and Vietnam's agricultural complex in Russia, are expected to benefit both countries once implemented.
The elements that make up a comprehensive relationship between the two countries are not only economic relations, but also their people's concerns, memories, life and work. This is a completely unique relationship that can only be seen in the friendly and reliable relations, such as the Russia-Vietnam ones.
The economic and trade cooperation between Vietnam and Russia has been developing dynamically, though yet to match potential. Two-way trade reached $2.2 billion in 2015 and $591 million in the first quarter this year.
The Russia-ASEAN relationship is developing, with 2015 marking the 10 years of cooperation. Trade between Russia and ASEAN has reached $20 billion, a significant figure. But there are many areas that the two sides can work together effectively. Economic cooperation between Russia and Vietnam has not been commensurate with the potential of the two countries. Russian enterprises have too little information about Vietnam. It is hoped that the free trade agreement between Vietnam and the Eurasia Economic Union will promote economic ties between the two countries.
Currently, Russia ranks 17 out of the 101 countries and territories investing in Vietnam, with a total capital of $2 billion in 114 projects. Vietnamese companies have invested $2.93 billion in Russia, mostly in oil and gas and trade. In terms of tourism, Russia is one of Vietnam's 10 leading markets.
The current Ministry of Employment and Labour has announced that it will resign the normal Memorandum of Understanding to resume the reception of Vietnamese labourers under the employment permit system from 2017.
The ministry suspended the Memorandum of Understanding in 2012 due to the high rate of illegal Vietnamese workers in the Republic of Korea. It then signed a one-year deal allowing the recruitment of a limited number of labourers. The Memorandum of Understanding will be signed during Minister Lee Ki-kwon's visit to Vietnam on May 17th. The ministry said the decision comes after Korean enterprises employing foreign laborers asked the government to re-sign the Memorandum of Understanding, saying that the Vietnamese laborers adapt well to new working environments and quickly acquire skills. In addition, Vietnam has also put forth a plan to improve the management of its guest workers and curb the number of Vietnamese overstaying their visas in the Republic of Korea.
Employees of domestic commercial banks received higher salaries in the first quarter of this year thanks to the bank's improved performances. More details coming up next.
Financial reports released by banks show that Employees of the Bank for Foreign Trade of Vietnam, Vietcombank, got the highest monthly average wage of 23.5 million Vietnam dong, equivalent to over $1,000 in the first quarter of 2016, up 5 million Vietnam dong against the same period last year. Vietcombank has 14,750 employees and it spent 1,016 trillion Vietnam dong on wages in the period, up 30.7% against year-on-year. The Industrial and Commercial Bank of Vietnam, Vietinbank, also reported an average salary rise of 2.4 million Vietnam dong per month in the first 3 months of 2016, helping more than 21,000 employees to receive 20.6 million Vietnam dong as monthly salary. The bank, whose pre-tax profits surged 54% in the first 3 months of this year to 2,404 trillion Vietnam dong, set aside 1.3 trillion Vietnam dong for its employees' salaries, up 21% year-on-year. Though the number of employees increased 24% to 23,834 due to its merger with Mekong Housing Bank, the Bank for Investment and Development of Vietnam (BIDV) salary costs still rose 18% to 1.25 trillion Vietnam dong. Average monthly wage at the bank was 17.5 million Vietnam dong.
Nearly 140 samples of seafood, vegetables and water in the 4 central coastal provinces, which suffer massive fish deaths, are confirmed to be safe and within the prescribed level. This information has been announced by the Food Safety Department under the Ministry of Health. Test results showed that 97 samples of fresh seafood are safe. The vegetables and water samples are also within the permitted level. The Food Safety Department said more seafood samples sent for testing were caught offshore. The department took samples of seafood twice per day and sent them to the Institute to determine toxin levels. The test results are announced the following day to inform the public whether the food is safe. The government and relevant ministries will also be informed of the results. The massive fish deaths reported in central Vietnam since the beginning of April led to damage to the economy, environment, farming and production, as well as seafood trading activities, causing worries for the people. After the incident, ministries, relevant agencies and local authorities have implemented several inspections to determine the cause and to guide locals on how to overcome losses, resume production and stabilize their lives. More than 300 artworks and 60 documentary films featuring the ASEAN community are being displayed at an exhibition in the northeastern province of Quảng Ninh. Now let's take a look.
Co-organized by the Ministry of Information and Communications and the Provincial People's Committee, the exhibition is one of the activities to disseminate information about the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, as well as the formation of the ASEAN community and its benefits. These artworks and films were selected from outstanding entries submitted to several prestige festivals and competitions on the ASEAN member countries and people held from 2010 to 2015 by the Ministry of Information and Communications. They depict a wide range of themes such as the landscapes, traditional cultures, and environmental protection in the region. The exhibition aims to call for Vietnamese nationals to join hands in building the ASEAN into a community for peace, stability, prosperity, and people-oriented, as well as enhancing public awareness of the ASEAN community establishment in late 2015. All the works will be presented to the Provincial People's Committee after the exhibition wraps up.
And that has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye for now.